let's talk NBA, exciting NBA right now with Rick and my good friend Jack. Heating up in the NBA. Playoffs. And by the way, you were right about that play, and he was right about the play. And I want to give him kudos on that. That playing was a lot of fun. Man, some good games. The Lakers should have lost and been in the 8th spot and would have had to play Memphis, and Memphis ended up beating Golden State. But that play was fun, man.
Not only did they beat Golden State, but they won their first round.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's funny. Memphis is amazing. They beat San Antonio. Well, they had to play well down the stretch to even get that 10th spot. And then they go in and, you know, they beat San Antonio. And then nobody thought they'd beat Golden State. They beat Golden State. And what I've been saying all year about John Morant, what I've been saying, Mr. John Morant, that guy's.
You've been saying that he should be in the conversation.
I said he would be the MVP race early in the year.
Yeah.
Of course he's not. Jokic is a clear winner, man. That guy's unbelievable. Nobody will even come close. He will win by a landslide.
Absolutely.
He's got it.
Because he's got consistency. He's never been out for any period of time. So I think he's going to win it, as he should, you know, despite everybody else value to their team, but he's outperformed all the other MVP candidates.
And Denver has continued to win without Murray, you know, without Jamal Murray.
But the difference is who?
Pardon me?
The difference, who makes a big difference?
Well, there's a few of them. I mean, what his name is playing very, 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 very well. You got Jokic playing well. You got O'Neal there's playing well. You've got they brought in Aaron. He's playing well.
That's the difference maker.
How about Millsap?
Millsap was okay.
He looked pretty good last night.
Yeah.
I mean, he had a good game last night. But the thing about Denver is they were very upset what happened in game one. Very, very upset to lose that game. And for them to play the way they played last night, they played very well.
They were determined.
Portland got it put to them last night, man. And in the first game, like they said, you know, their coach, they didn't have any energy the first game. Denver just showed up like, we're going to beat Portland, and Portland isn't going to win this series, and we're going to win 2 at home, and then we'll go to Portland and see what happens. Portland came in and smacked them. But then Denver, you see the different energy last night? But they couldn't stop Dame Lillard. Lillard is a beast, and he's as good as anybody in the NBA.
Yeah, but then you need a strong 2 and a 3 where, you know, McCollum definitely needs to step up more.
Yeah.
You know, it's a matter of they need that not just necessarily strong, because McCollum is strong. He just needs to be more consistent.
Well, and you know, they have Carmelo Anthony plays great in game 1. He was blowing it up in the second quarter. But didn't do anything last night. And I don't believe, I think the guy's older now, and there's a perfect example of an older guy. I don't think he can play 2 great games in a row. I have not seen Carmelo Anthony this year play 2 great games in a row.
I have.
You have?
Yes. But
I must be watching the wrong TV, because I don't.
For some reason, they didn't.
Game 1, he was great. Game 2, he sucked.
But game 1
beat him up last night.
Game 1, did you see him go in the locker room in the second half?
Yeah.
Something's wrong with him. I don't think
he took a little break. He went in. I don't know. Maybe he had to go to the restroom. I don't know what the thing is. But, you know, it's tough with Portland because Nurkic is a good center, but he gets tired. Having to play against Jokic that whole time is really tough on him. And then they bring in Enes Kanter, who didn't look good, who looks terrible. He was getting beat up in there. And I'm really surprised. I thought Kanter was a better backup than he looked like last night. Now these games, it's ebb and flow. These games change.
3 years ago, Kanter is way. I think, I don't know, maybe because he won a ring in with the Raptors, that, you know, maybe like the try hard is not there as much as it used to be, or whatever the case is. I just don't think, or the nostalgia that we have as far as the Kanter that's supposed to be, maybe that's what Portland has with him. But he's not the ideal backup for me.
Jokic was beating him up last night. The thing, I don't know if any of you know this. This is kind of an interesting bit of information, that Jokic and Nurkic were both on Denver together. and they said they had to get rid of one of them, and they kept Jokic, and he got traded to Portland, but two good centers, I believe, and I think that.
Can you imagine if you have them backing up each other?
Nurkic is the ball player, but he has been able to stay healthy. He had a broken leg, he had a broken wrist, but that was an interesting game. But we had a lot of interesting games. What caught your eye? And we haven't had too many second games yet. It's mostly first round games so far. But what's standing out for you?
That Miami didn't bring the heat.
Woo!
In game number 2.
Wow. Game number 1, as Milwaukee wins. Middleton hits one at the buzzer. Great shot to win it. That was a close game yesterday. They won by 32. They were ahead by 40 at one point.
Effortless.
Hey, the first quarter the game was over. The first quarter of the game was over. They scored 49 points in the first quarter. Who scores 49 points in the first quarter? I'm talking about Milwaukee. They couldn't miss a three. What'd they have? 15 threes in the first half. 15 threes in the first half. The record is 29. By the way, they have it for the game is 29. They had 15 threes in the first half. And everybody's hitting. That kid Forbes, Bree Forbes or whatever his name, Bryce Forbes, he comes out of San Antonio. He looked great. That's a good team. Middleton looks great. It's a good Lopez in the middle looks great. They bring in PJ Tucker hitting a few corner shots. Milwaukee, I'm telling you, is if Charles Barkley says his opinion is that they'll sweep Miami. If they sweep Miami, I believe they're going to win it all. That's a good basketball team.
But I don't think Miami is the judge.
Miami, hey, they're not a bad basketball team.
No, and the defense, surprisingly defensively, for them not to have an answer for basically for the entire game, to be able to stop those threes. It's surprising because Miami is a decent defensive team. They're not just
very good defensive team.
They're not a Brooklyn that just it's all on offense. I'm going to outscore you.
Yeah,
I was quite surprised.
What's wrong with Adebayo? He doesn't look good. He looks terrible.
Bam Adebayo has never been.
What's wrong with him?
He's never been consistent enough for me. I know you've always said the Heat goes as far as he goes.
Absolutely. So that's the problem right now. He's doing nothing. I mean, he's missing short, mid-range shots. In the bubble, he was great. I said, wow, this guy has finally grown up. And that was my impression in the bubble. It was like, and again, bubble basketball, you're going to continue to see bubble basketball was so different than what we got right now. Traveling and being in different cities, fans, sleeping in a strange bed. I don't know what's wrong with Adebayo, but the problem with that team really right now is him. And he's not stepping up. And, that's the same with a lot of other teams. Look at Anthony Davis. What was he, 3 for? Anthony Davis did not show up for that first game. I mean, but come on, man. Phoenix made him look bad, that team. And Ayton in the middle dominated.
And the thing, too, is that's a game that they're going to wish they could have taken back, no matter how much responsibility he said he took for it. It's playoff basketball. Every possession counts.
The Lakers will come out like beasts tonight.
I know they will, but then you never know. What was the cause? They weren't hitting shots.
We were wide open, man.
We were texting each other, going back and forth, and I'm like, "You're like the way
that the Sun come back.
The Lakers are," and I said, "No, because they're not hitting the open shots that they're supposed to be eating. They're supposed to be hitting." And I'm like, what's wrong with them? Like, I'm looking at the legs, because now if you're missing shots, I'm looking at your legs like, are you not set for it? No, at times they were set. It's just when they came down weak. And I said, they don't have any legs right now.
When it was winning time, they didn't win. And that's not the Lakers I know. They've been behind many times in the fourth quarter, midway through the quarter, and they've come back and they started hitting. They started hit those threes, and Caldwell Pope and and the Kuzma, those guys started hitting. They were getting no help out there. Davis and LeBron were getting no help. Caruso was about the best player besides them,
but he shouldn't be. And then right now it's almost like what's his name in the middle? His backup is Drummond. He's ineffective this series right now.
Oh my God, Drummond looks terrible, and Trez Harrell, who usually plays pretty good with a lot of energy,
you can get at least 12
points. It's one game. You know, we'll see what happens tonight. Tonight, we'll, you know, on our next show, we'll be saying the Lakers are dominating. I don't know. I think the Lakers will play a lot better. Let us know what you think. I know there's a lot of Laker fans out there, you know, and they'll be fine. If they lose tonight, they're in real trouble. They're in real trouble if the Lakers lose tonight, so they need this game. How about the Clippers? I mean, what a heartless bunch. They lose on purpose so they don't have to be in the same bracket with the Lakers. We all know that. They didn't want to have to play the Lakers to the conference final. And now
they might not make it to the conference final.
Dallas put a bigger beating on the Clippers than Phoenix put on the Lakers.
They opened the
I mean, LA, what are we talking about, man? Both teams lost by 9 points. I mean, of all the playoff games, the two worst games were the Lakers and Clippers.
I think the Heat has something to say about
Well, the Heat's pretty bad. But I mean, what Boston, another one. I mean, Boston looks
that's gonna be a
tough. They don't have enough.
That's a tough series for Boston.
It is,
like you said, they don't have enough, and for some reason they're not even like, you know, you'll see a couple sparks, couple possessions where, you know, couple baskets and stuff, and a couple stops. That there was none of that in the game, and it's Boston, like Boston, there's a problem.
And Washington just can't keep up with them. And Washington has had a rough stretch to even get to the playoffs. They played so well the last couple, 20 games. They really were way back. And to get in the playoffs for Washington was really, to me, it is a lot of respect for their coach.
You need
Scotty Brooks, who was in Oklahoma. I think Scotty Brooks is a good coach. But Beal and
you need a perfect Beal, and you need
Russell didn't have a good game.
You need an exceptional Russell.
Brooklyn isn't going to allow that to happen, and that's the problem. Brooklyn sweeps that series. Washington will not even get close. I think Brooklyn's favored by 9.5 tonight. Washington doesn't get close. They're done. They're tired. They've had to play too hard to get what they got, and they had a good year, and they'll improve if they keep everybody. You know, Russell seems to be going from team to team, but what stood out in your mind for that, first game, between the play-in and in the first round, the first games, it's early. It's still early. A lot can change. It's only the first round. We got 7 games to play conceivably. What stood out in your head so far? What's catching your eye?
For the most part, I don't know, Jack, because teams that you
that's fair.
I'm gonna be straight up honest. The teams that I'm expecting to win are not winning, and teams that should be showing up are not showing up, and it's like, come on.
And again, it's early. I mean,
I know it's early.
We got to give them a couple games, and
but it's a playoffs. You can't take the Lakers cannot take that game back, or even like the Knicks. Don't you think the Knicks would have wished Randall played like an MVP? He didn't, and then guess what?
He did not. And guys, they were fortunate that Barrett stepped up, and some other guys stepped up and played well. Burks played very well. I mean, that guy's not going to be able to play that well again. Come on, man. I never seen that guy play that good. He doesn't score that many points in 5 games. He was out of his brains. If it was not for him, they would have not been in the game. But the thing that amazed me was there was 5 or 6 times in that last 6 minutes that I thought, Knicks have got this. I'm going to lose that bet. We had a bet on the game. Jack and I bet on a few games once in a while. We had a little friendly bet on that game, which he had the Knicks and I had Atlanta straight up, because it was pretty much a straight up game, like they're all going to be.
It's 4
But I was really surprised that the Knicks lost that game. And that Garden was rocking, man. Woo! Was that Garden rocking?
Spike Lee.
No arenas like that place.
Well, everybody likes to show up in the Garden, and
that place was
for some reason everyone comes there.
Well, what a disappointment! Did you hear how silent they come? Yeah,
absolutely. Talk about that's the quickest way to shut up the crowd down.
How about Trae Young? Big mouth kid, right? Got a lot to say.
Well, he backed it up.
Oh, he did, and we'll see what happens tonight. That's the thing that stood out in my mind is the young players in the league that are stepping up and with confidence and playing. Back in the day, a lot of young players, they would be intimidated by this. They play good during the year and then have a terrible playoff. Now these kids are so cocky and so confident. And I'll just talk about 3 of them. You talk about Trae Young, incredible game, incredible player. Right. You talk about Morant, took that team and said, "Let's go," and won that game the other night. I mean, wow, to go out and win that game.
And would you even?
And they've been playing and playing and playing, and the excuse was, oh, we haven't played. We're a little rusty. Memphis, and I didn't know of a player very well on Memphis. Another young guy from Oregon. The kid is so good. It's good ball players. And the thing about the thing about Memphis is they don't quit. The name I'm thinking of is Dylan Brooks. Dylan Brooks, what a player! What did he have? 26 from Oregon.
Surprisingly,
and he's a good, spot there when Morant can't do everything. He picks it up. And Dylan Brooks has been in the playoffs for me. The surprise, he wasn't even on my radar.
Another young person, like you would say, like young player is Devin Booker.
Well, I was just going to say that was my third. I got sidetracked by Dylan Brooks because he played so well. But my third is Booker. Those three guys, the youth, three young guys.
Normally, they
just unbelievable.
The stage would be bigger than them. Now,
just unbelievable.
Hey, challenge accepted. They go out there and just do their thing.
And we'll see if they continue to do that. But too bad for Golden State. I would like to see Steph in the playoffs. But
man, at the end of the day, it's a team sport, and Memphis earned their way twice, and then won first round. So let's see.
And Memphis had to continue to win to even get into the play-in, and they played hard and did it. I really like that team because they work so hard. They work so hard, and it's a thrill to watch them. I like a team that plays hard every night. A team like last night Miami, they didn't play hard. Portland really didn't play hard, and that was surprising for me. Maybe they were just getting blown away, and it was just too much the way Denver was hitting. We got a lot of ball to play, but from your first impression, who looks like the top contenders to you in the West and the East?
I still like the Suns, and I still like Milwaukee.
Yeah, the Suns got to beat the Lakers. Do you think that's going to still happen?
Yeah.
Who wins tonight?
I think the Suns are still going to win tonight.
You do?
Yeah.
Interesting. I think the Lakers are favored, and that must got to be insulting. The Lakers are favored by 1.5. I'll tell you that right now.
I like
it's 1 to 2 points. In the other games, the Clippers are favored by 8.5 tonight against Dallas. What an insult to Dallas. They say the Clippers are going to play that well. The Clippers are favored by 8.5 points.
No, I said
and what? Brooklyn's favored by 9.5, 11.5. It's big.
Yeah, well,
it's 9.5. It's a big number,
and it's probably going to be more. It's the Celtics. The Celtics does not have what it takes to win this series. And it's crazy that
there's no way.
They have been rebuilding for the last 8 seasons. Like, how many years do you need to rebuild? And they're further away than they were 5 years ago.
I said, and a lot of people, a lot of people are confident in that organization. Danny Ainge and that staff there. But I haven't felt good about Boston all year, and even when they were at full strength, even when Brown wasn't hurt.
Is it the coach? Is it Brad Stevens, or is it the
I think it's the whole organization. Something's not right there. There's no continuity. There's something that's not right in that Boston organization. Whether it's Danny Ainge, I don't know. He's been there a long time.
Because they've had players. You've had Kyrie there.
Maybe it's Brad Stevens. They don't get along with them. I don't know. But that Boston organization, and I've always said this year, Boston goes as Kemba Walker goes. If Kemba's not playing well, they're in trouble because, your stars, Tatum's going to be there every night. He's going to be there,
but Tatum needs to, he needs to.
Who's he got around him? Who's the supporting cast?
He's still got to take over the game. At this point, it's not even how Kemba is doing. It's a matter of how Tatum's supposed to be the best player on the team. Let's see.
He plays like it.
But we know he's got to take over the game.
Yeah, 50 the other night. I mean, and he played pretty well in the first game, though they got beat up. But it was the big three. You would say Tatum, Brown, and Kemba Walker. Now I think it's only the big one. To be honest with you, I don't think. What big three? Brown's out for the year. He ain't coming back, so he's not going to help you boys. Kemba is up, down, and all around, and he's so fragile. he gets pushed around out there.
It's his style of play. His style of play is going to have him be injured.
Smart. I mean, Smart is an average player on a good day.
Yeah, but
he
Smart brings more
lack of skills.
Smart comes there. He's a rally type.
He plays every night.
He's a rally kind of teammate. As before, like during the season when he wasn't in there, they basically were inconsistent. Sometimes they win, sometimes they don't. And when Smart got back in, you see the consistency of winning came about that, and that's why they started winning. And they were like flourishing or basically playing with being the number 4 team.
Yeah. At this time of year, Smart is not going to make a difference in the playoffs. He is just like in the Lakers. Caruso is not going to make the difference in the Lakers. He hustles. He's a Marcus Smart kind of player. He hustles. He's so smart on defense. He's a good player. He's a player that has overcome his handicaps to be a great NBA player. Great for what he's doing, not elite great. But he's not going to be the difference maker. I mean, in the end, Porzingis is not going to be the difference maker in Dallas.
He is, though. I think so. Because if he plays poorly, they don't have a chance.
Yeah. I think for me personally, I think Hardaway Jr. is the difference maker in Dallas. And if he's playing well, Porzingis is doing what he's supposed to do, which isn't a lot. He shoots threes and does nothing else.
But Hardaway is the outlier.
Luka's probably the best player in the NBA right now. I said, Luka's good, man. Who's better than Luka right now?
I would say he is.
Giannis?
No, Giannis needs to learn how to shoot free throws under 10 seconds.
I tell you, he's pretty darn good. And it's tough right now. Dame Miller. They talk about Steph Curry being the most prolific ever. I'm watching that game last night, and they're not hanging in there. And I'm watching Dame just shooting threes from half court and making them. And I'm like, this guy is so good. This guy is so good. But again, they're just not going to get there. I mean, if McCollum isn't showing up, if Nurkic isn't showing up, if Jones isn't showing up, they're going to be in trouble. And
right now they are in trouble.
If Cantor isn't showing up, and again, they really miss Zach Collins. If Zach Collins was in there, Zach Collins has been hurt for 2 years, but what a prolific player he is. But he's not there to help him. He's on the bench every night. He's been hurt consistently. But Portland, again, another team that just doesn't have enough to win it all. And after game 1, everybody's like, oh, Denver better watch out. No, I don't think so. Denver just realized one thing. Beat them up in the middle. Beat them up, beat them up, beat them up. Denver's playing very aggressive and physical. And, it's tough because Denver is a good team, but they probably don't have enough to beat Utah or Phoenix. In Utah, what's up there? You let Memphis come in and beat you.
See, with Mitchell back, do you think that's going to happen?
Well, the other night it was. I think everybody was discouraged because they thought he was going to play in Utah. And I think he brought their level of intensity down. We'll see if he plays tonight. If he plays tonight, he's going to be okay. He doesn't have his legs on. Who's he going to replace? Clarkson didn't have a good game. And by the way, congratulations to Jordan Clarkson for 6th Man of the Year. He won that award. He had a great year. He deserves it. But, again, in Utah, they count on Bogdanovich a lot now. Since Mitchell's been out, Bogdanovich he almost brought him all the way back, right?
Yeah.
Couldn't miss. So Ingles, good player.
But their bench.
They got good players.
Yes.
Clarkson, good player.
But Mitchell brings a different intensity to the game. And
Gobert, to me, he's a great defensive player, but what else does he do? Does he make any points? Does he do? He's going to be defensive player of the year again this year. He does, but he doesn't do enough.
No, yes, he does. He does what's not on the stat sheet. The things that he does on the court are not. You can't put stats on it, but he makes a difference.
Well, of course, he's been defensive player of the year. He does make a difference, but I can't believe that they would allow Memphis to come in there.
Listen,
Memphis to come in there and beat him easily.
It's one game.
It is one game, but Memphis has a lot of energy.
What
are you going to do? Stop Morant? Did you see that game was on the line? He made a layup every time. Nobody could stop him. Clarkson couldn't guard him. Who could guard him? Gobert couldn't guard him. Who's going to guard Morant? Who's going to guard Dylan Brooks will be as easy to stop.
They watch film. This game is gonna be different. It's gonna be just like the Portland series, where we thought like, oh my God, like, oh well, Portland's about to relax. It's game one. Yeah. We're gonna see a different Utah.
Okay, so how about who's looking for, in your mind, that you think the Lakers and Clippers are going to come back and get rallying and get involved and end up playing each other in the championship?
No,
or is it going to be Phoenix?
No, I think.
You think it's going to be Phoenix and Utah?
Yes, I think both of these teams are going to get knocked out this first round.
Yeah.
So like tonight, I would take.
You think the Lakers and Clippers are going to get knocked out?
Yes.
The Clippers definitely will not get knocked out.
Clippers won't?
Watch them tonight. Clippers.
Okay.
Clippers are going to go. But I see your point. Hey, the Clippers, I've been waiting for them all year to prove something to me, and I've been touting them all year and saying that they're the team, they got the best team. But everybody says the same thing. The Clippers' problem is between their ears. And I can't believe it's grown men in an environment with a bunch of brothers and a brotherhood of a ball club that you can't mentally get your games together to use all that talent and be successful. I can't fathom it. I can't fathom that team with that much talent can't win. I just can't get over it, Jack. I just can't get over it. I believe the Clippers are the most talented team in the NBA.
So the problem with that is when it comes into the locker room culture.
Nobody talks to anybody.
In the locker room, despite you being the face of the franchise, you still are held accountable for your actions. When those guys don't even show up at games, guess what? I'm in here busting my tail off. I have a bum knee or bum or ankle, and I take that bad boy up every night, and I'm out there playing. I have blisters. I have the same exact injuries you have, but on a nightly basis, I go out there and do the same thing. And you can't, and half the time, he's not, like those, George nor Kawhi, are they rallying their team when they're off the court. I see all these other players, star players, are like a Chris Paul. Hey, we're talking about this play that just happened. That was successful. Or, hey, we should have done this. They're always coaching. Or they're on the sideline rooting their team on. Not those guys. It's like they just come in. I know Kawhi's going to get his 26 points. Okay, I got my 26 points. What the rest of my team did? No, you got to rally. You got to push.
Yeah, they play funny, man.
How do you push when
they just play basketball?
The next game, you're like, I can only play 20 minutes today. How do you push your team with that? Yeah. It kills morale.
Yeah. Well,
and that's their biggest thing.
The Clippers are looking for a spark. Hopefully they find it. If they find the energy, they're going to be fine. They haven't found it yet. It's funny you commented on the face of the organization. I don't know who the face of the organization is. Is it Leonard or is it Paul?
It's Leonard. He's the one.
Leonard. It's not Paul George.
No, he's the one that gutted the organization to bring George.
Leonard's the face of the organization.
Yeah,
wow, that's a quiet face. Okay, well, anyways, we got a lot of great games coming up. We got a lot to do during these playoffs. In the next week, we'll have a lot to talk to our fans about and what's going on, and it'll be fun. It's early. A lot will change in the next week. We look forward to seeing you. Continue to watch our show, please. Continue to watch your teams. Give us your opinion. Thanks for watching us at WWDBTV, YouTube, Roku, Apple TV, all of those places. We like the fact that you like our shows and watch them and share them, and you're involved with us. Give us your opinions. We'd like to know more about what you think about these NBA playoffs. We take a lot of pride in this NBA show. And as we get into the next week, we'll have a lot more exact opinions on what's going on. And what do you want to close with?
Tonight, I'm going to take Suns.
Tonight being Tuesday night. We film this show on Tuesday, so you'll see it Wednesday morning. You'll be able to know what happened.
Suns, Nets, and Mavs.
Wow. I'll take Brooklyn, of course, tonight. I will take the Clippers tonight, and I will take the Lakers tonight.
Okay.
Watch our show tomorrow morning, and you'll see how we do, and you'll see that I had all three right in the end. One right out of three. Anyways, enjoy your day.
And this is the one that
Hey, I just know we're going to be that. So like NFL, same thing. Anyways, Thanks for the laugh. We enjoy watching. Brother, you're the best.
Always, sir.
Enjoy.
Yes,
Enjoy your 2 losses tonight.
Ah!
Goodbye. Thanks. Talk to you soon. God bless.
Hit that notification button.